Hey there guys, Jason from Remax Real Estate Center here. Today I am down in beautiful Mannheim, just running a couple errands and wanted to touch base with you guys for this week's JV update. Airbnb has kind of started out as a great opportunity for people to make a little bit of income in times when they're not using their property. But right now we're seeing a lot of investors who are going all out on Airbnbs, and they are purchasing entire properties with the sole purpose of renting them out through Airbnb. So I wanted to touch base on a couple of things you should be keeping in mind if this is a strategy you want to take on. With Airbnb, like any other investment, it's going to be important to not overestimate how much money you're going to take home at the end of the day. Airbnb is wonderful because you can make a good amount of money, and it's very appealing to look at your property and say, wow, $100 a night, that's going to really add up quickly. The thing about Airbnb you have to keep in mind, as opposed to a longer term tenant, is that you may be vacant for at least half of the month. With all the turnover, you're gonna have more wear and tear on your property. You're gonna have to do cleaning, laundry. There are a lot of moving parts to keep an Airbnb running smoothly. When you start looking at your costs, make sure you're thinking conservatively about how quickly it's gonna pick up and how quickly you're gonna get the systems in place to be a very efficient Airbnb host. Now, on the flip side of that, when you don't want to overestimate how much you're going to make, you also don't want to underestimate how much time it's going to take you to get set up and get your systems moving. When you initially set those Airbnbs up, it's going to require a lot of your time to prep your place with all of the amenities that are going to be expected for the Airbnbs that are out there right now. You have to get your photos taken. You really want to be on the ball with anybody who's submitting requests or trying to communicate with you. Another thing that's very important about Airbnb is that the reviews are king. If you're able to keep a good status with Airbnb as a host, it's going to work out really well for you. Their algorithms are going to continue to push you in front of people who are looking in your area. But if your reputation or your reviews start to slip, that also picks up very, very quickly and can quickly snowball into a position where you are not getting as many bookings as you're hoping for. Another important thing to keep in mind with Airbnbs is to communicate with your condo, or if you are renting, then you want to be talking to your landlord. It's important to not risk the stability of your life if you are going to be Airbnb-ing the home that you live in. If you're not comfortable with the idea of someone living in your space and having access to your appliances and your furniture and sometimes your belongings, that Airbnb might not be right for you. You also don't want to risk getting into trouble with your condo corp or landlord. So make sure you understand what the expectations are of your landlord or what the rules and bylaws are in your condo building. Along that same line of understanding the impact it might have on your day-to-day life when you do come home is remember that you have neighbors. So even if the tenants have been fine for you, you didn't hear any complaints from the tenants themselves or the people who you hosted, keep in mind that the people that are coming into your condo unit, your townhouse, or even your detached home may be impacting the neighbors around you, and that can retroactively come back to you. Another important thing you're going to want to keep in mind when you've decided that you're okay with making this leap into being an Airbnb host is do your research on pricing. As is the case with anything with investments or real estate, is do your homework. Whether that means going out for a few weekends before your listing goes live to try out some Airbnbs, see what the competition's like, see what they're doing well, see what you think you can have a leg up on. All of these things will help you hit the ground running once your Airbnb goes live. You'll also want to make sure that your insurance is set up appropriately. Make sure that you're asking the right questions, be open and honest about it, and find a broker or someone who will provide you insurance for the lifestyle that you are hoping to lead or the investment that you're hoping to run out of that property. Now, what I'm trying to relay to you right now is information that I have picked up from other realtors in town, investors in town, people who have acted as Airbnb hosts around me. And what I really want to highlight about Airbnb is, and I feel like every conversation that I have with people ends up on this point of the fact that Airbnb is still a relatively new system, and cities and provinces and countries even are trying to figure out how to best work with something like Airbnb. We're seeing the same kind of issues come up with Uber, where some people are not comfortable with this becoming a common business practice. That leads to the final point, which is if you are looking at purchasing a property fully for this investment opportunity, make sure that you have an exit strategy as well. Make sure that if bylaws change in your city or in your condo, that you have another use for that property that can still provide income and still cover your costs. So if that means that you're purchasing a property that will cost you $1,600 a month to carry, and you could net a market rent of $1,600 a month as a default, but you want to try Airbnb to get more, then that's perfect. But don't buy an investment going all in on Airbnb just because of how new a system it is and how new a business practice it is. Obviously, there's still a lot of research you'll want to do as an Airbnb host on your own, but I'm just hoping that some of these points will help you get the ball rolling if you are considering it. It's a beautiful, beautiful summer right now. A lot of people going away on vacations, heading up to the cottage for a week at a time. If this is the summer where you want to try it out and try Airbnb for a week or a weekend when you're away, go for it. Don't be afraid, but make sure that you're doing your homework first. I appreciate you guys tuning in again this week. I likely won't be posting a video next weekend as I will be out of the country, but I will be uploading again sooner rather than later. Take care, and I will see you next time. Really hope you enjoyed that video. It was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was beneficial for you. If you want to see more from me, feel free to subscribe here or check out another video down here.